Recording starts.
Good morning. We are here at our November 8th board meeting. Sarah, would you let us know, call the roll, let us know who's here? I know we have a few folks who are missing today.
We do. Good morning, everyone. We have with us in the New York City office for board members, our chair, Lisa Gomez, vice chair, Jerry Romsky, and Alfonso Carney. In Albany, we have Robert Rodriguez, Ken Evans, and Christina Coughlin. And joining us by phone today is Joan Sullivan. Members who are absent are Beryl Snyder, Janice McKinney, Wellington Chen, and Adrian Swazerski.
Sarah, clarify, point of clarification. Joan is on the phone, but not on the screen. That means that she is a non-voting attendee.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So first order of business is the minutes from the October board meeting. We get a motion to approve. Jerry?
Second.
Al, second. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. Second item is the Finance Committee report. Jerry, would you do the honors?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. We met this morning. First up was the adoption of the meeting minutes from the October meeting of Finance. They were adopted. We then proceeded to discuss the matter that's on, I believe probably next, the Carlton School. After a little bit of discussion and some clarification, we unanimously voted to recommend that that be approved today. We then went on to discuss a TELP financing for Syracuse University Hospital. Same result. That concludes my report unless anyone has any questions or concerns. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item, Charlie and Dave are going to present the aforementioned Charlton School. Charlie, turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chair Gomez. Dave Ostrander will present the Charlton School transaction summary. It's behind tab 3 in your board book.
Thank you. The board is being asked to adopt a resolution to proceed for a financing on behalf of the Charlton School, the details of which were described to the members at the meeting of the Finance Committee. Staff is now seeking authorization to proceed with the bond issuance in an amount not to exceed $12 million on behalf of the Charlton School. The proposed bonds will be issued under the Residential Institution for Children program. That concludes my report.
Does anybody have any questions there? This was recommended by the Finance Committee for a little bit of discussion. So can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Al?
Second.
Second. I can't see who seconded. Who seconded?
Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, Robert. Okay.
No.
Sorry, we really can't see
Can't see
much on
anything.
of the folks in Albany. The screen's small.
We
so-
have a new electronic device. We're not using the projector, and it makes the images of the locations much smaller than was the case previously. So it's difficult to
I think you could
see.
do it on speaker.
That's right.
Okay, I'll reach out to staff.
We're good.
Okay.
Outstanding, Ricardo.
Outstanding.
All right, we got you now.
Mac's job is at rest now.
Yep, there we go. Okay, we figured out how to make you all
Very
bigger.
nice in Albany, right?
Okay, so we had a motion from Al, we had a second from Robert. May we have a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. Next is Jerry's favorite, the TELP at SUNY University Hospital at Syracuse. Charlie, are you going to do that one?
Was Portia. It's Portia.
Portia will present that. It's behind tab 4 in your board book.
Thank you very much. The members are being asked to consider a TELP transaction on behalf of SUNY University Hospital at Syracuse, otherwise known as Upstate, in an amount not to exceed $25.8 million. SUNY Upstate plans to finance various medical imaging and cancer treatment equipment, ultrasound, and other equipment. Thank you.
Okay, we had a recommendation to approve from the Finance Committee. Is there any questions on Portia's presentation? Okay, we have a motion to approve. Jerry,
Second.
Al, second. Great, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. Let's see. Next we have the, five, sorry. Oh, the corporate governance report. is number
Which is not going to be presented.
Yes, okay, we're not going to do that. So we're going directly to 6, to the vice president's report. Charlie, you want to take that over?
Yes, thank you, Chair Gomez.
Sorry, I didn't have a number
The Vice
5.
President report on Monday, October 30th, we were invited to present before the New York State Senate's Cannabis Subcommittee, chaired by Senator Cooney. Also, it was a joint committee hearing, and it had Senator Krueger, who's the finance chair, and Senator Hinchy, who is the chair of Ag and Markets. So they had a full day of testimony. DASNY presented third, and it was a good opportunity to highlight DASNY's and SESC, our corporation that we created, highlight the efforts we've made in cannabis and the progress we've made there. So we had a good presentation and good reception from the members of the legislature.
Charlie, it's Al. How many presenters were there?
We were third. I think there were about 10 or 15 testants at the,
Okay.
so some individuals, some associations, and then Office of Cannabis Management, and was the public, it was the, what was the other board that presented?
Advisory board, Cannabis Advisory
Cannabis
Board.
Advisory Board also presented.
Okay.
So we were the 3 state entities.
Thank you.
Anything else, Charlie?
Sure. We're going to be holding a clean energy transition seminar with campuses across the state on Tuesday, November 28th. That builds upon the master planning seminar we did. So we're looking for, helping people to find ways to decarbonize their campus and meet the ambitious goals that New York State has on environmental success there. Finally, we've been asked to administer a couple of new grant programs, including a grant for veterans and not-for-profits. That's moving ahead very well. There should be announcements coming soon on requests for applications. So that will be upcoming soon. And that's all I have to highlight today.
Hey, Charlie, as part of clean energy, are you all sort of piggybacking on some of the stuff in the Inflation Reduction Act in terms of, available resources, or is it primarily focused on our sort of assistance?
The resources through both the Inflation Reduction Act, that's being coordinated by the executive chamber right now. So we hope to engage with legislation that we are proposing to help us engage with localities, especially towns, many of whom lack the resources to effectively plan and execute construction projects. That may leverage some of those funds that are ultimately made available. So we look forward to advancing that in the legislature this year.
Charlie, it's Al again. In the grants administration, we pretty much figured out how to do that right. Thank you, Sarah, for all of your efforts. Now we've got new categories of grants. I guess the question is, do we have enough people?
Recruitment and retention and employee recruitment and retention is an issue across the enterprise and not just at DASNY. It is a statewide issue.
Sure.
With them. I think we have a healthy staff in the grants department who's very effective and productive, but we are constantly seeking to recruit and retain new members there. I don't think they are well staffed to meet the current need and the projected need for the coming year.
Agreed. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Charlie?
None here, man.
Okay, so then I guess we're on to tab 7, and Portia's going to do public finance and portfolio monitoring.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Included in the members' materials are the standard public finance reports. Since the last board meeting, we priced and closed the AMDA transaction. And I would note that we did receive the opinion, Jerry, that you had inquired about at the last meeting.
Yes, thank you.
We
Saw that and I appreciate the follow through and follow on. Thank you.
Absolutely. We also closed the pit and sales tax tender. Brief market update. Total year-to-date long-term new issue supply in 2023 is approximately $318.5 billion, down 8.5% from last year's comparable volume. This week's supply is expected to be around recent averages, about 8.1 billion. Tax-exempt bond yields were lower on Tuesday, with the 10-year AAA MMD down 4 basis points to 3.28%, and the 30-year down 5 basis points to 4.28%. U.S. government bond yields were also lower, with the 10-year Treasury yield decreasing by 9 basis points to 4.58%, and the 30-year Treasury also decreasing by 9 basis points to 4.75%. Municipal bond funds reported outflows for the week ending November 1st after prior week's outflows. Since the October 11th board meeting, the 1-year MMD rate has decreased by 23 basis points, the 10-year has decreased by 20 basis points, and the 30-year has decreased by 8 basis points. And during that same time period, the 10-year Treasury has decreased by 8 basis points, and the 30-year has decreased by 10 basis points. Just one other thing that I wanted to mention to the board, in public finance and portfolio monitoring, we're undertaking a number of initiatives really focused on process improvements and efficiencies. The first thing I wanted to make the board aware of is that we have a database project going on. That's something that Steve Kosher is heading up. We're really looking to gain efficiencies from that automation project. And one of the things that I think we're really pleased about is there's a number of year-end reporting that we do. And that's something that we expect we're going to be able to really automate, so that end of the year reporting should really save us quite a lot of time from a staff perspective in terms of producing those year-end reports. Another item I wanted to bring to your attention is the transaction reports that we provide to you on a monthly basis for the financings that we are presenting. This is an initiative that Dave Ostrander is heading up. What we really seek to do is to streamline those reports. First and foremost, we'd like to eliminate the redundancy. I think a lot of you know that when you go through the reports, there's a lot of redundancy in those reports in terms of sort of that cover face page, and then the background report that follows there. So first and foremost, we would like to get, really address that issue. And then the second thing is we really would like to present the information in a more concise manner. We really think that we can do it in a way that will make the reports basically easier for you to review and also, frankly, easier for us to produce. What we would like to do is to bring to you next month a template, so you could take a look at that and get a feel for it and see if sort of what we are thinking about these reports is the same as what you would be thinking about these reports. But I have to say, I think we're excited about doing this. I'm somewhat chagrined to say that we have been using the same report format since sometime in the 1990s. So we are due for a refresh. And again, we're really excited to be doing this. The last thing that I wanted to bring to the board's attention and really ask for your feedback on is I had mentioned that there are year-end reports that we provide. Those are all required by statute. There was one report that we provide off-cycle, and that's a credit enhancement report, which we generally bring to the board in February. The credit enhancer report is something that a board member had requested back during the financial crisis in 2008. As you will recall, at that point in time, there was a lot of tumult in the market, particularly with the bond insurers. And our portfolio was heavily bond insured. That's sort of the way the market was back then. And what happened at that time is the bond insurers basically lost their investment grade ratings. So there was a lot of confusion in the market, a lot of level setting in the market. And it was a very, very good request in terms of asking for that credit enhancement report to see, I'm going to call it exposure. It's not really exposure because we have no financial exposure as a conduit issuer, but, just to see what was happening to the portfolio in terms of its composition. So we have provided that report since 2008. And I have to say, I'll just maybe distribute this. We've been providing that report since 2008. And honestly, there's not a lot that's changed over the last few years. And I'm hoping that there are copies of this chart in New York City, this little table, is that right? Okay, great. So at the time back in 2008, there was a substantial portion of our portfolio that had credit enhancement, in particular from the monoline bond insurers. You'll see that back in 2008, that was 29%. There was other enhancement provided, by institutions like Sunny Mae or FHA. There were also a number of transactions that had letters of credit. And then there was an unenhanced portfolio, which back in the day in 2008 was 34%. What you will see over time is when you get to 2022, the amount of credit enhancement in the portfolio is very, very little. The amount of the unenhanced portfolio has obviously grown significantly, and we've also seen private placements. I'd say in the last 3 years or so, there's really been very, very little movement in terms of all of those categories. But this is a report that we provide annually. It takes a good amount of time to provide this report. I will say, Alex Radine has done a really nice job of automating certain features of that report, but nonetheless, it takes time, and I'm not sure that it's really providing much value. Or, truthfully, I would say it's not really providing much value. I wanted to bring this to the board's attention and ask you to give consideration to our no longer providing that report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. If you want to, take some more time to think about it, happy to have that happen as well. We can come back and talk more in December if that's the preference, but just wanted to basically bring it to your attention. Thank you very much.
Sarah, it's Al. Do we have to vote to discontinue the report?
No,
I don't think so.
No.
Right.
no.
Okay.
Would some of the technological enhancements and changes that you're implementing make pulling this information easier? So it could be a more of a on-demand kind of request versus an annual, or how? If we wanted to see these things, would we be able to see them?
So Alex has done a good amount of work in a separate automation project from the one that Steve Kosher is undertaking. I think the answer is yes, but Alex, I'll defer to you.
Yeah, it takes, there's a lot of data that goes into creating this report in the background, and I've automated where we can get this data in more efficiently, but it still takes quite a bit of time, probably about a month, doing, regular Mondays to kind of get it done, so I would start in about the beginning of January to put this report in order to get it ready for the February board meeting.
If things change, if things changed in, 2 years and all of a sudden there's more bond insurers in, or the letters of credit come back, I don't know why they would, but you can go back, and if we asked you in 2 years, well, now that they're more relevant, the data is there, right? You just got to pull it, right? It's not like you're not keeping the data, right? I don't know what you do, but it seemed like that's sort of a.
That is there. And if you did want us to provide the report, we could provide the report. The question is, should we be providing this report to you annually?
I'm inclined to go with sort of the ad hoc. If somebody has a question or things change or there's disruption in the market. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I appreciate the amount of work that it does take to do something that's really a very small segment of the portfolio. You know, and the world has in fact changed a lot since
I agree.
2008.
I agree.
I mean, I think I remember when we did this, it was like the bond insurers were
The
like
world was
teetering on the
melting down.
brink and
Yes.
like, you know.
Everything was teetering on the
Right,
brink in
right.
2008.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a
And there was a lot
very,
of letters of, why did the letters of credit stop? There used to be a lot of letters of credit, and all of a sudden they just. I guess the banks just didn't want to,
yeah, we have not really seen.
I think a lot of it is cost to, you know, so you're paying and then you're collateralizing post Dodd-Frank. A lot of the banks looked for,
right.
you know, if you're gonna provide a letter of credit, something had to stand behind it. So that's my guess.
I think that's right, Lisa. You know, the other thing that we did see some amount of is that some of the banks that provided letters of credit, you know, then maybe some of them look to become purchasers in private placement transactions. You know, I think it had to do something with, you know, Basel requirements, collateralization, the kinds of things that you're talking about. But again, we see very little activity as far as letters of credit are concerned.
So
Out of
with
curiosity, solicitation for credit.
So we don't do ourselves a solicitation for credit enhancement, but on an individual deal basis, the financing team, and in particular the underwriter, you know, would look at that. You know, if they feel that it's something that could be economical, then we
Variable
would,
versus
yeah,
fixed.
then we would be reaching out in the context of an individual transaction to see if credit enhancement makes sense.
Or it would come through the DOB on the main
Correct.
issuances, right? Correct.
So Portia, since we're not voting, what you're looking for is a sense of the board that this formal report be discontinued, at least for the moment. Unless you, in your view, there is a reason to either bring it back or, as Lisa points out, to offer add information ad hoc. Is that,
Correct.
you just want to sense the board?
Correct. So, you know, because soon it's November, you know, in January, I think Alex would start working on this report to bring it to the board in February. So the request is to not produce that report for this cycle, recognizing obviously based on the discussion here that the board reserves its right to request this report on an ad hoc basis.
Well, we're not required to have a vote. Can we just have sort of a show of hands that everybody's okay with that? I think I see that in Albany. Anybody? I'm fine with that.
And Portia, you see next year, it's about the same, it's on the same line, right? You don't see anything different. If it, I mean, I don't saw it, you know, from all, what didn't really do a lot. I get it.
Look, it's been sort of low single digits.
Yeah, that's right, just right.
So in terms of the percentage of our portfolio balancing that against what the staff could be doing, you know, for school board, you know, okay, all right, I think you have your okay on that, Portia.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay,
Alex, really.
Alex, congratulations.
But now you have something else to do now, so we.
Yeah, Alex, I think we gotta come up with something else for you to do in January. Okay,
Or pay less money.
so next we have tab 8 is the financial report. Kim is going to do that.
Madam Chair, as highlighted in the standing financial report, our personnel expenses continue to be under projection, primarily due to retirements and slower than anticipated recruitments. Non-personnel expenses are also slightly under projection by approximately $400,000, primarily related to timing of computer services and equipment purchases. We do not have any private debt issuances in the month of September, so our year-to-date financing fees remain at $800,000 through September. Percentage of direct hours charged to public client programs remained at 95.7% against a budget of 94.6%. Lastly, budget staff are in the beginning stages of reviewing our year-end projections and working on developing next year's financial plan. At next year's meeting, you'll see an update to the 23-24 budget and financial plan summary, which will include updated results from 22-23 and projections on where we expect to end this fiscal year. That concludes my report.
Does anybody have any questions for Kim?
None here.
Anybody in Albany? All right, thank you, Kim. Looking good, cruising into December. All right, tab 9 is the construction report from Steve Curro.
Good morning. Behind tab 9 are my standard construction reports.
I thought you're here.
He's invisible today. Steve, we have a place
I'm
for you
looking this
here.
way.
We're looking this way to see where you are.
Get it.
Okay, Steve.
I decided to come here today. Shorter commute. So behind tab 9 are the standard construction reports. We had a couple of new project ads. One is a new science lab renovation project for Queens College at 6.5 million. And we're installing a couple of emergency generators at Rockland Psych Center for a total of 10 million. We completed a campus-wide accessibility condition assessment project at City College this past period for 10.9 million. And there was one drop project at Baruch. The project's actually on hold due to some lease negotiations going on with the space. As far as expenditures go, for the period ending September 2022, we were at 303 million. And for September 2023, we're at 357 million. So that's a gain of 54 million year over year in expenditures. The project highlighted on the monthly projects report is an OMH community minor maintenance project located here in the Capital District. A small project at 1.7 million. Springline was our designer and All Tech Construction was our general contractor. We just completed that in September. Basically a small residence, 4,000 square feet. We resided it. We replaced windows and doors. We did a bunch of interior work as well. We just completed that in September. As far as the program updates for SUNY, the FIT project continues to slide the end date. We were made aware just last week that the completion date is now projected by our general contractor to be April 2024. That moved from February 2024 to April. So a couple of month move there. At New Pulse, the Awasting Hall renovation project received a TCO on Friday, October 20th. So that space will be ready for student occupancy for the spring 2024 semester. Continue work at UAlbany's Colonial Quad and Mackenzie Hall at SUNY Alfred Phase 3C. With that one anticipated to complete in time for 2024 spring semester occupancy. Just quickly on CUNY, Mike Stabulous, Kate Seeley Kirk, and myself met with our counterparts at CUNY last Thursday, working toward some suggestions that DASNY made with regard to more efficiently delivering our project services to CUNY. Overall, the meeting went very well. One of the bigger lifts was that we're going to get some funding to scope projects before the project requests actually come to DASNY. So that'll save us time with the work that we do. If those scopes, budgets, and estimates are more on point than what we're traditionally getting. Still working on the Lehman School of Nursing, trying to get that TCO in place for spring 24 occupancy. Very busy across a number of the other CUNY campuses. And we continue to work in our procurement group on building efficiencies into our processes for CUNY as they have requested. The DOH lab, we've completed negotiations with our design build team. And we're anticipating forwarding the contract submission to New York State's AG and OSC for approval in the near future. OMH, just a long backlog of projects, continues to grow with the heaviest activity at St. Lawrence Psych Center. Mid-Hudson, Capital District, Rochester, Central New York, and Mohawk Valley, amongst others. As far as recruitments go, we have 35 open recruitments today in the construction division. And our PM web implementation, as I noted last time, we've finished phase 1. We're working on migration from our current project management system into PM web with our site sets on phase 2 of that implementation, beginning in the first quarter of 2024. That concludes my report. I'll take any questions.
Questions?
Thank you.
Always great to see how busy your team is. Anybody have questions in Albany for Steve?
And by the way, congrats on negotiating that design build contract. That was a substantial challenge I could see, so.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So at this time, I would like to have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the financial and credit history of a particular corporation, matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and proposed pending or current litigation.
Second.
Barry and Al, thank you. Any staff who are not in the executive session may leave, as there is no other business to be conducted after executive session. Sarah, will you let us know when?
Back on, Lisa, so.
Okay, one more time, take 2. While we were in executive session that we just returned from, no decisions were made other than to return to the public session. Are we now in public session? We're in
Yes, we
public
are.
session? Okay, yes. Okay,
We're
now,
back.
having no further business, may we have a motion to conclude the board meeting?
So moved.
Al, thank you. Any
Second.
second? Second from Robert Rodriguez. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any extensions? Great. The board meeting is now concluded.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for your